blah, blah, blah. I'm so tired of hearing about that. Welcome to Slapping with Truth with your clarity coach, Queen A, right here. Now, it's a major topic, and the world is going mad, fearful, sad, depressed, aggravated, and all other different type of stuff, right? But the thing I'm seeing and I'm noticing is that the world is um tends to be in dysfunction, as I like to call it, living in fear because of the unknown, because of the misunderstanding and the miseducation of what's been going on for years. Yes, for years. And if you want to learn how to overcome fear of things like this, situations like this, when we're living in a government shutdown, when we're living in times of, financial crisis and things of that nature. If you want to know how to stay confident through these times, make sure that you tune in and subscribe to this channel. All that Gucci stuff. Okay, so let's just get on into it. What we're seeing is everybody is like mad, ain't they? Everybody's talking about the government shutdown. You're not going to get your food stamps. You're not going to get your check. You're not going to, Section 8 is fading away. And just all, and even if you're not on that, people are just like living in fear of the government being shut down. And it was kind of funny to me because I didn't even know the government. For one, I didn't even know that it was a shutdown going on because I don't watch the news. I don't really pay attention to all that Gucci stuff. So no matter what y'all see with me and what y'all may think, I don't truly pay attention to that stuff. So I didn't even know we was on a shutdown until I kept seeing everybody talking about it. So I did my research. And what I found in my research, I really want to share with you all. You see my hair? So I did my own hair. Do y'all like it? Do y'all like it? I do have these two long ones right here, so I'm going to make them shorter after this live. I noticed they're longer than the rest, so I'm going to shorten them down. But I just got to tell y'all. So I did my research, and I would really suggest for all of you to do your own research instead of just like going mad because everybody else in the world is going mad. So before, I can remember the reason why I did my research. So shout out to my pops, my dad. He always told me growing up, he used to always say that if the government, if they say, or the news or anybody, politics, any of that nature, he always said that if they tell you to panic, don't panic. But if they tell you not to panic, you panic. And he been telling me that since I was little, and I never really understood that. I never really understood that. Hi, love. Hi, Elena. Hey, love. How you doing? Sean, how you doing, love? I see you there as well. So I can remember for me, like I was like, why is he talking about they say don't panic, panic? And if they say panic, don't panic. Like, shouldn't it be the opposite? I mean, like what the world is doing now, right? Shouldn't it be the opposite? And so one of the things I found when I got older was that things are lies. We don't do our own research. We tend to become, we are like a family of followers, right? We don't do our research. And that's why this podcast is called Slapping with Truth, because I want y'all to do y'all research. And they was kept saying that this is the longest government shutdown in history, right? And that's why everybody's going so mad, so scared, so aggravated. And thank you all for the hearts and likes and stuff. I do see that. I appreciate that. Yes, yes, yes. So, but I would commend you all to do your own research. Like, I would really ask you all to do it. Because when I did my research, what I found was we've been experiencing a government shutdown like almost every few years. The government, this happens. Yes, it's getting long, and they said it's the longest ever been. And so I did my research because I wanted to know what was the longest government shutdown in history. Like, what is it? And do you know what it is? Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm about to slap y'all with some truth right here, and after this, we about to really get into it because this is why the world is living in fear. So the longest before this, because now this is the longest one, of course. I believe it was 36 days or something like that. Check me if I'm wrong. 34 to 36 days. It might even been 31. I don't know. But we're going to say 31 to 36 days. Basically a month. And it shocked me because I was like, wow. And I want y'all to think about this. We as a society, we sit up here and we say, oh my God, it's a government shutdown. And they shut down. The longest one was 31 days. And I would challenge you to think about that for a second. If you can't even survive for the government shutting down for 31 days, and we just talking about the government shutting down with food, and we just talking about the low income, basically, who is really affected. Let's just be honest. You know, if we can't even survive 30 days or 31 days, 36, 40, 50, whatever days, with the government being shut down, with just on that level. And that's why I like to say they do tests. And I would really commend you all to do your own research and learn how to do fend for self. Because that would also mean that if we going this crazy for food and everything, how much more crazy would people go if Facebook was shut down for 30 days? If YouTube was shut down for 30 days? If TikTok was shut down for 30 days? But I really want y'all to understand and think about that for a second. What would you do? And now let's get even deeper, right? Because people was talking about the government shut down. If they shut down, what if online, the whole online system, right? You couldn't even get no Wi-Fi. We talking about no Wi-Fi nowhere, no signal for 36 days or a month. Let's just say a month. The world would go, do you think they would be even madder? Like they would be upset. They upset over right now just over food stamps. How much more do you think they would be upset if the whole internet shut down for 30 days? Think about that for a second. How would you feel? Are you prepared? Are you prepared if the internet shut down right now for 30 days? Are you prepared? So I'm just asking, right? Because we live in fear because of the unknown. So anytime we're experiencing fear, it's why? Because it's things that we don't know about. We don't know what's coming and we don't know what to expect. That's the only time that you will encounter fear. I can guarantee it. When you know what to expect and you know the outcome, you don't tend to have fear. Okay? So now I ask you this. If the internet shut down for 30 days, are you prepared? What I mean by that? Are you prepared to, because I mean if the internet shut down, that means you ain't no Netflix and chilling. Ain't no Amazon Prime. Ain't none of them things. But so what are you doing now to prepare for that? Because I'm telling you now, these things, I look at them as tests. If we getting like this angry over it because just one system is failing, what would we do if the whole internet just stopped, just didn't, like it wasn't working for 30 days? People would go crazy. But not you though, because you here with Queen A, and I'm going to teach you how to stop living in that fear of government shutdowns. So it's the clarity framework. So y'all got to learn, people got to start using the clarity framework. So it's my own framework that I came up with. And I really, so if you think about it, so what? Hey, babes. Hey, how y'all? Hey, look. Little stud? No. Okay, so let me say this. If you can't be respectful, please remove yourself or Queen A will do it for you. Okay? So I'm going to let you know that right now. Be respectful or I will delete you from this. And I see that we have people, if you look in the comments, that can't be respectful. So I'm going to go ahead myself and remove you. That's how we'll do that. Because I don't think, let's see, how do I have no, there we go. There we go. There. So now, for the people who really want to learn, right? Because this is a Slap 'em with Truth channel. Okay? This is not for anything else. And this is to get clarity on your mindset. And I will block or delete if need be. Okay? So we have to learn how to utilize. That's because the world is not using the clarity framework that I teach. Why are people living in fear of the government shutdown? Because they have no clarity on what they would do if they didn't have food stamps. They have no clarity on how to grow their own food. They have no clarity on really how to take care of themselves naturally. And these are things we got to get back to. How powerful would it be if the government said they were shutting down for 30 days and nobody got offended, nobody got angry, and nobody got mad because they was clear on who they is. They was clear on their goals, their dreams, and their values and who they are. Because once you clear, then guess what? Now, what you do? Would you talk about the crown framework? So you clear on it. Now you got to go into reality. What's the facts versus feelings? Okay? What is the facts versus feelings? Okay? Yeah, we're going to... there we go. There we go. All right. I apologize. And I apologize that y'all have to, because, yeah, we can't do that. There we go. All right. All right, because I don't even know who this rally is. So I just want to get them off of there so the real people on here can focus on the real theme of what's going on, okay? Now, back to the crown framework. Like I was saying, the world is living in fear because, one, they don't have no clarity on how they can grow their own things, on how they can even become financially stable without utilizing the government. We don't have no clarity on them things. And then two, what's the reality over what? The fiction. Fact over fiction. So the fact is that if we learned how to do these things for ourselves, that we wouldn't have to live in fear because we would be clear on how to eat no matter what. Okay? So that is the thing that we have to understand. That is exactly what we have to do. Just to make sure, because at the end of the day, let's see. There we go. All right. And so now, like back, and I do apologize for anybody watching that having to see that we have people on here that, and that goes back to living in fear. See, whoever, is commenting like that, you have to be living in fear. You have no clarity on who you are. And I would suggest for you to get clarity on your principles, your values, and your goals. That way you can at least respect yourself. Not too much Queen A. Learn how to respect yourself. Okay? So now, back to the R. What's the fact over fiction? Okay? And the fact is, like I said, we have to learn how to grow things ourselves. We have to learn how to take care of ourselves. Stop waiting on somebody to take care of us. That's the fact. Most of the world, like 90% of the world, is sitting there waiting on somebody else to take care of them. And that's why when the government shuts down, we all live in what? Fear. But if we all knew, okay, well, if they did decide to shut them down, if we had a system, we say, you know what? Well, quid pro quo, right? I do your hair, you do this for me. And vice versa. Can you teach me how to grow? I can teach you how to do hair. Can you teach me how to do this? I can teach you how to do that. But we so scared to learn how to fend for ourselves. Because some of us got plants in our backyard right now that we can utilize and we can eat. Literally eat. Turn them into tea or all types of things. But what? We are uneducated. We focus on the fiction of it. The fiction is that you need help. That's fiction. That's not a fact. Okay? So you don't need to rely on nobody else. That's a fact. The fictionary comes in when you just sitting there like, you know what? Well, I can't do this. If they don't help me, how we gonna eat? If they don't help me, how we gonna get to point A, point B? If they don't help me. But the fact is, you've been helping yourself all this time. You just don't realize it. So, okay, if they shutting off stamps, then the fact is you need to learn how to start growing for yourself. If they shutting off this, then you need to start learning how to do that. That is the fact. That's the R, reality. And then the O, take ownership. See, we as people, we don't know how to take ownership of anything. We are you, right? Blaming you. It's your fault. They did it. If it wasn't for them, I could be anybody I want to be. I could do anything I want to do if it wasn't for them. But that's the kind of society that we have become, where we feel like we have to blame everybody else instead of taking ownership. If you took ownership, you will understand that you're only living in fear of the government shutdown, because the fact is that you ain't got all your ducks in a row. You ain't been doing your education. You ain't been doing nothing to try to figure out how you can survive on your own. That's the reason why you living in fear. And I'm not taking this away. I'm not saying that it ain't going to affect some people. Yes, it's going to affect people, but guess what? If you had clarity, right, if you had clarity and you was focused on the fact over fiction and you was taking ownership, and then you did it today, because right? So the W, let's not get to, let's go straight to the end. So we got to go to the W. And the W is willpower. And we got to have the willpower to do it. So when you take ownership, us as people, we got to learn how to take ownership and have the willpower to take the ownership. But in order for us to have willpower, we got to train our mind to think differently. And that only starts if you understand the principles. You got to understand what respect is. You got to understand how to walk through fear. You got to understand how to overcome, not even overcome, how to walk through failures. But that's when you build your willpower. And then the end is now. We as a people, the world, we need to do it now. I don't care if you white, black, pink, purple. I didn't care. I don't care what nationality you is. If you living in fear of the government shutdown, then guess what? You need to start today, not tomorrow, because guess what? Tomorrow don't ever come. Tomorrow don't ever come. Today is always here. It's always now. So start now. Get clear. Get clear on how to get your finances in order better, so you don't have to worry about this no more. Get clear on how to grow things yourself and be more healthy, so you don't have to worry about this. Get clear. And I'm not taking this away from nobody, because Queen A is I've been just getting clear myself, especially on these things. I ain't ate meat. It's been like 3 years now since I ate meat. 2.5, 3. No, 3. I've been here 2 years. 3 years since I ate meat. And I'm in the best shape that I've ever been in my life. But I still have things that I'm working on that I have to get clear on and take ownership of myself. But it starts today. I had to learn it starts today. Now. That's why I didn't. Now y'all understand in the beginning why I said I didn't even realize it was a government shutdown till everybody else told me. And that was like, what, a week and a half ago? And when I looked it up, the government had already been in shutdown. They was on shutdown October the 1st. I ain't found out to the end of October. Because when you have a different mind frame, my mind wasn't worried about that. And then my kids, they come and they say, Mom, did you hear about the government shutdown? And I said, yeah. I said, do you see me worried about it? No, ma'am. Do I look like I've been worried about it? No, ma'am. And then you know what I told my youth? We don't worry about stuff like that. You know what they said? Yes, ma'am. And they ain't asked me no more since. And they ain't said nothing about it. They ain't worried about it or nothing. Because I don't want to teach my youth, or I don't want them raised thinking that dictates their life. That if the government shut down, we ain't going to have no life. Because that's what a lot of people out here is thinking. If the government shut down, we ain't gonna live. We ain't gonna have no life. We gotta challenge ourselves, guys. So that's the key. So if you was wondering how to overcome living in fear throughout the government shutdown, I just gave it to you. I just gave it to you. Utilize the Crown framework. Get clear. Get clear on why you afraid, right? And then what's the fact over fiction? That's the R, reality. Fact over fiction. When it comes to that, right? The fact is that you can learn how to do things yourself. The fiction is thinking that somebody else is the only way that you can survive. That's the R. The O is ownership. Take ownership. We got to take ownership of why we living in fear. Take ownership of why you don't know how to plant your own food. Take ownership of why you don't know how to, just do anything or survive without being online. Take ownership of why you can't even communicate with people outside. If online fade away, you can't communicate outside. Newsflash, I'm an 80s baby. We didn't have online. And the best years of my life was spent outside. Being bad or whatever you want to call it. All right? Being a kid. And W, willpower. Right? Build certain routines to help you gain willpower. And then do it now. The last thing is now. Start now, guys. Y'all up here, the world up here, really every other post is about a government shutdown now. It's, oh, he about to send out 2,000 for stimulus and this. How we going to spend it? Like, really? This what we coming to? Yeah, I just had to... Oh, I had to slap somebody with some truth on today. Somebody had to get slapped with some truth. Because I got to save somebody if I can do it. Save somebody. All right? That's all I got. Make sure y'all subscribe to this channel if y'all want some more truth. You tired of living in fear. Right? I see y'all next week. I just had to let y'all know what was going on, what I was thinking about it. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Well, make sure y'all subscribe. All that Gucci stuff. Y'all want to take advantage of my free webinars? Make sure y'all comment. Let me know. I'll send you the link. But either way it goes, if nobody else loves you, Queen A does. Later. Mwah.